Okay, so welcome to my YouTube channel. Uh, Today's topic is config and secrets. Okay, whether our nodes are ready. Okay, so the nodes are ready. Our cluster is created. So we'll install the first Git in order to import the in order to clone the repository. Git hyphen y, and we need to import this in. We need to clone this repository. Okay, so copy https and give the command git clone. Okay, so it is clone here. Let's open th cd. Oh, what happens? I think it is restarted the server. Okay, sudo su hyphen th. Okay, so day 15. Okay, cd day 15 config and secrets. Okay, so all the files are already defined here, secret.ml and the config.ml along with the deployment.ml. Okay, so let's say first I will apply the all files. Okay, kubectl apply hyphen f. Okay, so it is so deployment is created, pv is created, pvc, and the mysql secret config is also created. Okay, yes. So we will see the pod whether it is running. Okay, so one pod is created and it is up and running, right? So, uh, so if we see the logs of this pod, no, kubectl logs. Okay, in that we can see, oh, why it is being restarted. Okay, so happen cd day 15, right? Kubectl get pods. Okay, it is running. Kubectl kubectl logs. Okay, and give this mysql. So this will show the logs of the pods. Okay, so here we can see that entry point, because entry point is taking from the Docker image that is defined in the, it is calling from the Docker hub, right? So it is taking the entry point from there. Okay, and here you can see MySQL server initialization start, MySQL server initialization, and database file instructed, some certificate is signing in, and okay, so these are the logs. Okay, so creating database MyDB. See, it is taking the MyDB, the username, right? And this is the, MyDB is the database name. Okay, it is taking the MyDB, which is defined in the this one. Uh, okay, this only we have taken, right? So it is taking the, see, MySQL database is taking MyDB, and MySQL user it is taking the admin one. Okay, check over here. See, MySQL user is NDB, right? So These values are fetching from the config map.ml, right? Okay, so it is fetching over from there. So password will not be showed, because it is the secret one, right? So this is how it fetches the values from the config.ml and the secret. Okay, so secret is designed especially for the for the secrets one. Okay, so it is in the encoding format. Okay, we need to decode it. Okay, if you want to see this password. Okay, so this is about the config map and secrets. Okay, so we'll move to our last topic, that is RBAC. Okay, so RBAC, right? RBAC is what? That rollback access control. Okay, so rollback access control means rollback access control. So we know that in the okay, RBAC. Okay, RBAC. So we know that if we in the, let's say there is a service in the IAM, right? So IAM is a service level access control is there. Okay, so it is defined for the service level. But what if you need to have the control over the your define the cluster? Okay, so let's say there is already one cluster running and one project is already running, and let's say some user is joined in your organization and he needs your cluster access. Okay, so how will you give that only cluster access to him or her, right? You don't create that IAM, right? With the IAM, you can control or deny the permissions of kubectl apply. You won't be, right? For example, I want to share my cluster to my friend. Okay, he is able to run kubectl apply only, not delete. Okay, so I want to give him only the he should apply the kubectl command and not the delete one. So how can I give this? I cannot give it by the IAM. Right? I need to give him the restrictions by using IAM. No, no, right? Because IAM is a service level. Okay. So, and you are asking controls here inside your cluster. That is why we need to use RBAC. Okay, rollback access control inside the Kubernetes YAML. Okay, so there are some rules and some authorization defined in the RBAC. So let's see this directly with the practical. Okay, so first we need to create one IAM user. Okay, IAM user we will create first, because that user we will be giving the some kubectl get command or kubectl list command. Okay, so there is no any user. Create one user one. Let's say okay, user one, user dash one. Next, and we need to give him the let's say uh, service of the cluster. Okay, means he is we need to give him the admin access. Okay, we'll give him the administrator access user one. Okay, next create user. Okay, so user one is created, right? Okay, so there is one process. Okay, I have already so first we will need to create the IAM user. Okay, with EKS cluster permission. Okay, so I have already give him I have created the IAM user and given him the necessary I have given the EKS cluster permission by giving all the permission, let's say administrator one. Okay, so it will include also the EKS cluster permission. So first what we need to do that we need to configure some profile for this for that IAM user. Okay, so that we can log into that user and means create some role, and we will be creating one Kubernetes role. Okay, and by creating that role we will be assigning some permissions over there. So this is the Kubernetes role, and here you are defining some rules that your pods will be getting the permissions of the get and list. your deployments you will be getting the get and list permission, but there is any but here is there is no any delete option, right? So it is we are restricting over that. We are giving only the required access, that is get and list for the pods, get and list for the deployment. So these are the rules. Okay, these are the rules defined in the role, Kubernetes role. Okay, and this role we need to bind to the one let's say group, that is let's say a developer group. Okay, so we will bind that role to this particular developer group. Okay, so for this we need to do some changes. Okay, we need to edit this Kubernetes authentication file in order to have that access to this particular user. So we need to also have the user over here. Okay, so let's see one by one. Okay, so this is the user one. Okay, and this will have the security credential. Okay, so this is my user ID. Okay, so first I have created my I am user with EKS special permission. Okay, so what will do I know that I will do the I will configure the profile. Okay, so configure profile for that user. Okay, so I will use this command AWS configure. First, I need to generate the secret key and access key for that user, which we have created. Okay, just now create access key, command line access. Next, understand. Next, create access. Done. Okay, so this is the access key and this is the secret key we have generated for that user. Okay, so first delete from here kubectl delete hyphen f dot. Okay, so it will delete all. Okay, oh, why it is getting restarted? I too don't know. So sudo su hyphen okay ls hyphen l.th cd su hyphen r back. Okay, day 14. Okay, so if I see I have role binding role.ml and process doc. Okay, so if you see the role vi cat role ml. Okay, so this is the role. Okay, I have already displayed you in this that text file. Okay, this is the same role over defined. Okay, so we are having the developer role. Okay, configure the profile AWS configure. Okay, just configure hyphen profile, because default is the profile of the root. Okay, I am giving the that user one profile, right? So I need to give this command like this way. Okay, so I need to give the access key, copy this and give over here. Okay, give the secret access key, copy, give this. Okay, region name is AP South 1, right? This is the Mumbai region to AP South 1. Give the JSON. Okay, okay, so we have configured this user one in our cluster. So now what is the next step is create the Kubernetes role, right? Create Kubernetes role binding to bind role and group. Add user ARN into config map file. Okay. So now we have already created, we have already have the this file ready, right? Role and the role binding. Okay, so we don't need to create that one. Then our step is required, that is in authorization file. Okay, so this is the authorization file. Uh, in authorization file, we need to add the user details, and user performance depend upon the whatever role permission you have given. Okay, so this is the file, okay, in which we need to add the users. Okay, so copy this command and try to add the map user. So this section you need to add over here with the your user. Okay, user ID. Okay, this is the unique user ID generated in the AWS cloud provider. Okay, so you need to provide that one. Okay, okay, so copy this kubectl, edit and kube system. Okay, first I will be generating the right those kubectl. Apply, apply hyphen f. First I will be creating the role. Okay, Kubernetes role I will have to create, right? So first I will create the role. Okay, dot okay, so our Kubernetes role is created. Then I will bind that role to that developer group. Okay, kubectl apply hyphen f role binding dot ml. Okay, so we will be binding that role to this group, the developer group. Okay, so kubectl get rb, right? Okay, what is the command? Kubectl get rb, kubectl get role binding. Okay, so this is the developer role over here. Okay, and we do not have the rb, have a resource type rb. Okay, so we have created the developer role, right? This is the developer role. Okay, so first we will need to, now we need to edit that file. No, that file we need to edit. So this is the file name. Okay, this is the AWS authorization file. Okay, so carefully we need to edit, we need to add the map user section in that file. Okay, okay, so here is the file. So we should be adding over here after the map role section. Okay, okay, this should be indentation. Okay, so we need to have the this account ID and copy that account ID to there. Okay, so this is the command. Okay, copy, and so this is the map user section we have defined. Ensure that we are in the same line. Okay, map roles, map user, user ARN, and the user DevOps. So here we need to change that user to, here DevOps is user. Okay, we need to change that to user one, right? the user we have created, user dash one, and the username is user one, right? User dash one. Okay, so we have changed this, and we will be adding this user one to the developer group. Okay, so save all the. Now execute that kubectl fly hyphen app role, right? Role.ml. It is already created. Kubectl delete will delete all and we'll create it again. Okay. Okay. So oh no. Okay. Role is created. Now role binding is created. Let's check over here in the file. Okay, we have already do that command aws eks update kube config. Okay, here we are updating the context with the user one. Okay, otherwise it will take the default one, that is the root one. Okay, hyphen hyphen name, test is my cluster name, hyphen hyphen profile, user dash one. Okay, okay, what is there when calling this operation? No cluster found, test. aws eks update kube config name test hyphen hyphen profile user one. Okay, so it should add now. Okay, once again configure that aws configure profile user one. Okay, give the secret key ap south one json. Okay, now try to execute. Okay, resource not found exception when calling the Skype cluster for the name. So what is my cluster? Kubectl cluster info. Kubectl get nodes. Yeah, I have the cluster. Why it is not happening? AWS EKS update kube config. Kube config hyphen hyphen name test. Correct. User dash one. Okay, so why it is giving some error? Keep ctl get svc. Okay, it is that is confirm that we are in the root only. Okay, we are not logged into that user one. Okay, this is confirmed. Okay, we will do one thing. We will go to the CLI. I have CLI. We'll try to run from the CLI from that user. No. Mm, command prompt. Okay. AWS configure. Okay, I have already installed the AWS CLI over here. That is why I am getting this. It is asking for me. Okay. So in your case, you need to install first the CLI tool of the AWS. Okay. Give this. No, US syst is not there. Oh ho 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 ho. Now I got it. What is the problem? Because I am executing in. Okay, let's give here the AP South one. Okay. Ah, get it. What was the problem? Right. Okay. See that my cluster is in UP, sorry, AP South one, right? So my user also need to be from uh, user one, AP South one only. Okay. Uh, but user is the global one. Okay, no problem. AP South one, give this JSON. Okay, and give here AWS EKS update kube config config name test and profile user dash one. Okay, the config profile user dash one could not be found. Mhm. Okay, so this is not going. I think we have done some mistake over here. CTL. Okay, they configure your user to this US East one. Okay, try to configure. I think this is the region issue. Okay, this is US East one, right? Okay, give US East one because my cluster, but my cluster is in AP South one. No, no. That is something else issue. Uh, okay, so it is. I have my created my cluster in AP South one only. Okay, so it must be there. This EKS. Okay, now I got it. It is my cluster name is test one. That is the reason. Oh man, sorry. So I must give the again AP South one. Okay, my cluster name is. Sorry, now I got it. My cluster name is test one. That is the reason why it is not configuring. Now I have added my user one context. Okay, to that EKS cluster of the test one. Okay, so now you are logged into this user. Okay, so what are the authorizations you have? You have the kubectl get pods, right? Kubectl get pods. See, you are able to run this command. There is no resource found, but request is entering into your cluster. Okay, so you have the access of the kubectl get pods. Let's try to execute the SVC. You don't have the permission. See, this error is coming, right? Error from server because this user one cannot list services because we have not given him the this permission of these services to list down, right? Let's check kubectl get nodes. This permission is also not there, right? So this is the this is about the rollback access control. So we are giving this user the cluster level access, okay, in order to control the cluster. Here we are restricting, giving him the rights of the service, and we have given him the rights of the to get the pods details, right? So this is about this is how we should be creating the rollback access control. Okay, and with this we have completed our Kubernetes section. Okay, thank you, friends. Thank you for attending. Thank you for all your patience. Thanks again. See you.